so what we're going to do is we're going to say to each other what we think are the benefits of having one big meeting. So we're having one big meeting. Ladies and gents, what are the benefits?
Everybody hears what's going on.
Yep. What else?
We get to all be in one place, and if you're a really large community, that might not happen often.
So we get to see each other and connect again, at least across the circle visually if we want to. Okay. What else is the benefits of one great big old meeting?
I don't know, is it more efficient in some way because we're kind of like we don't have to like share the information back to other people, you know, like through these different links and stuff. It's more direct, I guess.
Well, it's true we're getting information more directly, but in my experience, it's far less efficient.
Sure.
Because we're all deciding everything here. Do you think that?
What kind of meeting is this? Yeah.
This is a business meeting of our community or our co-op.
Got it.
Okay. Any other advantages that anyone can see?
Social.
And say more what you mean, Anna.
Well, having an opportunity to interact with people you might not get to see often because it's a bigger circle.
Okay. All right. Now what are the disadvantages? Any? Can you think of any?
It takes forever. It takes a lot longer with more people. It's less efficient.
Less efficient because we are going on and on and on. If we're using consensus, we want to hear from everybody and we hear from people, and there might be meandering or being random or being off the topic or venting their issues, or I mean, God knows. If we're doing sociocracy, we're doing rounds, which can take a while, and it's really good to do at least 2 or 3 because we keep getting better ideas. Well, this could take a while depending on how many of us there are. Less efficient. Any other? Alex?
So everybody has to make room in their schedule, so it's maybe harder to schedule
That's
a
right.
meeting like that.
Thank you. This is about 12 people, and let's say we're going to have a 3-hour meeting, so that's 36 person hours of our life. We'd like to use this well and not waste it, but we might be wasting it because there might be things going on that are just taking up meeting time because we haven't taught ourselves this is the most precious resource we have in our group, our shared meeting time, because it's time, and time is some of our life energy, right? So thank you. Any other disadvantages?
This is kind of what Mickey was getting at, but like maybe it's unclear what the meeting is for because it's for everything.
Well, it could be not so clear. There's a ghost in here. Not so clear what in the world we're doing. Now let me point out some cons, okay? Pros and cons. Some people are in here for the socialness of it. They're not really here to organize work tasks and create policies to organize those so that we can get the job done of what we're trying to do in our community so that we can leave the meeting and go have some more community life, some more connection with our friends and family, some more social events, some more community glue. Some people are using the meeting to feel connected to others. Well, now that's interesting. Okay, some people are in here so that we can catch the latest news because we haven't been reading the minutes. We're here for news. We're really not here to organize work tasks and policies to guide our work. Okay, now I'd like to ask that we get into, 3 smaller groups, just with the people near you. So we're going to just physically make 3 smaller groups. Does everybody have a group? Okay, why don't you come over? Well, it doesn't matter. We just have 3 smaller groups. It doesn't matter if they're different sizes. That's fine. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, just take a look around at these. These groups are all committees, and what they're doing is they're meeting. What are the advantages that we're in these smaller committees meeting about something, which is our community thing, our committee reason? Anybody? Advantages?
Focused.
More focused? Anybody else? What else?
Less time, probably.
Yeah, it takes less time. What else?
Yeah, connected to the less time. We can work on different things at the same time, so more gets done overall.
Because we're a smaller group. Plus, we know what we're doing. We have a smaller focus.
Well, there's other groups also. I think
The other groups are taking care of those other things that we're not
Right.
taking care of, and we don't have to take care of what they're doing over there or over there, and so on.
We're able to, in that way, that we might be more like specialized, or like we might have more expertise because we're able to focus on one area.
Does that seem reasonable? More specialized, more focused? People who know about that thing are in that circle, but not some other one.
There's implicit, I think, social pressure to engage. You can't just doze off.
Ah, you can't. Have you ever been in a smaller group where the person was dozing off? They didn't doze for long, did they? Because we just said, hey, wake up. Right. What about the shyer people who do not speak in the large group? We get to hear from them, don't we? What about people that are extremely on the I side of the IE scale, on introvert, extrovert? They're so far on the I side that we don't tend to see them very often, but they're in this small group. The smaller the group, the more we'll get their good ideas. At least for a while before they have to go home again. But the point is, we do get their ideas. Okay, let's go back into the big circle again. We have pros and cons. Oh, did we do cons on small circles? We didn't. Let's go back into small circles, stare at our fellow committee members, and just determine what the downsides of having small groups might be. Anybody?
We don't know what they might think, and so we're in that moment kind of representing people's wants and needs. And so we don't have all the information from everybody in that moment.
That's right. Right in the moment that we're meeting, we don't know what they might think about the thing we're deciding, and so on, right? Any other? Yes, Alex.
So maybe there's a personal tension going on with like me and another meeting member of this group, and then it's gonna impact this work of the group more than as if we were in a bigger group.
That's right. In the smaller circle, little issues between people are much more relevant and in the way, right?
We have less people to do stuff.
That's right. We can't call upon as many people to get the task done for our specialty. Okay. Anything else?
Less potential brainstorming.
Yeah, not as many good ideas as what we might get in the great big meeting. Okay. Everybody. Oh yes, Alex.
So the mood of the group could shift faster. I feel like, if 2 or 3 people here said, let's postpone this, let's go and have a coffee, we would be more ready to do that in the smaller group than in the bigger group.
So maybe you could slough off easier and not do your job because of those 3 people who wanted to go get the coffee. The peer pressure was big because there's only 2 of you left to say, wait, no, we should work. No, so you all go get coffee. Thank you. That's a funny one, and it's true.
Which is also a pro, that you can easier have a meeting by just going to a coffee shop.
That's right. Okay, everybody, let's go back to the big circle again. And let's see, how many of us are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not you, Ray. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12. Okay. I'd like us to make 3 circles of 4 people. Okay? But first I have to tell us what they are. So, first of all, we're going to get a finance circle. So who would like to be the operations leader of the finance circle? I'll just
Could
take
we know
a volunteer.
what all the circles are before we choose?
Okay, they are finance, promotion and membership, and physical infrastructure. So who would like to be the operations leader of finance? Would you please come into the middle, please? And would you take your arrow and point it back towards your circle? Now, if you'd like to join the finance circle, please come up and stand in a little circle behind Lauren, but not yet, not yet. Okay, now I need an operations leader for the combined promotions and membership. Okay, could you stand there and point your arrow back towards whoever's going to join? Okay, now I need an operations leader for the physical infrastructure circles. Okay, Jackson. So would you come up into the middle and point your arrow back towards you? Okay, now, everybody in the community, could you please join a circle? Here is land, there is marketing and membership, here is finance. Okay, all right. Gee, we don't. Could we?
This is how it is.
Thank you. Could we help?
You don't actually have to do it.
That's right. You don't have, thank you so much, Effie. That's right. Okay. So now, would the people in each circle put their hand on the shoulder of the other person, and then would you put your hand on the shoulder of your operations leader? Now, please take a look at what this looks like. If you could imagine yourself up in the air looking down, you would see there's a general circle, with operations leaders, how do you know they are? Well, they have a red arrow and it's pointing backwards towards their circle because they're going to give them the news of the general circle. And let's see, here is the land circle, and here is the marketing membership, and here is the finance. Okay, great. Now, each of you circles, would you turn around, would you, operations leader, turn around and be in your circle now, because now you're in a meeting of your circle, and would you please choose a representative to go to the general circle? You can do this quickly and no big deal, rather than through some formal process.
You can't do it.
No, she can't, but she's just taking the arrow.
Yeah.
You choose to be your general circle rep.
Okay, has your group chosen the person yet? Who is it? Here, take the screen arrow. Okay, has your group chosen somebody yet?
Yes.
Okay, who is it?
It's Anna.
Okay, Anna, here you go.
You got
Now,
some
with
arrows.
the operations leaders and the representatives, please go have the general circle meeting in the middle. All you have to do is go to the middle. Now, would you two who are in the same circle stand kind of close with your shoulders touching, so that we can see that there are pairs of folks from each one? Would all the other people in the circle do that same shoulder thing, putting one hand on this person's shoulder and one hand on the other, so that what we have is a kind of visual, here, put your hand here and your hand down, and then we have a circle going around here, see? See how we're kind of making with our physical bodies a little representation of the fact that we have smaller circles and we have the general circle. Okay, now we're having a general circle meeting, and let's imagine we finished, and thank you so much. Hey, operations leader and representatives, will you please turn around and face your circle again? Okay, now we're having, thank you for keeping the arrows correct. Now what we're having is a smaller circle meeting, a functional circle. Here we have finance, we have land, and we have membership promotions. Okay, now you're having a meeting. Okay, you've decided some things. Okay, please, representative and operations leader, go back to the general circle meeting. Okay.
We're building an underwater sea base.
Great.
Okay, so would the representative, would you please put your arms the way you did before, so you can get a kind of a felt sense of the fact that these folks are representing you. You're not in the general circle meeting, but they are, and you know very well, they know the issues you have in your circle, and they're not going to let you down. Okay, representative from land, would you please tell us that amazing piece of news, that of what you just did? No, it's not you.
No.
It's the representative.
Oh, we built an underwater small community.
Great. Okay, you're welcome. And based on fish, great. Okay. Now, finance representative, you can make up any amazing thing, but just give the general circle some news, please.
We got like $400,000 refund on our taxes.
Great. Now everybody knows all this. Okay, representative from marketing and membership.
Yeah, we just decided to do a virtual reality tour of our premises.
Nice. Great. Okay. Now let's imagine you're doing some general circle business. And now would you please turn around and go back to your functional circle? And operations leaders, would you please tell these folks the news of the whole community, which means the other two circles? What did you just learn in that general circle meeting?
We might have a problem with finances because we just built a underwater community.
A fish.
Yeah, and branched off into VR for marketing and membership improvement.
Okay.
In this case, this is a good example of the operations leader because those actually would be two
Yeah.
issues.
But then you'd be like coming to me and being like, what the hell? Why didn't you tell them not to do that? It's just a meeting, right?
Okay. Can I have your attention, please? Let us assume that you've reported on the community. So there are other things you will do in your policy meetings, but this is just to give you a sense of the difference between the general circle and how they are you and your functional circle. But now we're going to have a whole community meeting, so please remember where you're standing in your functional circle and which functional circle you're in. And now let's have a whole community. We're going out to the big circle again. And I'll pretend to be the facilitator. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you know that what we're here today for is to create a proposal on our pet policy, because it generally is complex and controversial in most communities. What we're doing is we're using the benefit of all of our minds and thoughts and hearts on this issue. Okay? Now we're doing the proposal forming part. Okay, let's say we did that. Okay, now let's go back into our smaller functional circles. Just go ahead. Okay. And would you be willing to hold hands? Just want you to know you're all connected in your smaller circle. Okay. Okay, now everybody, let's go back to the big community meeting again. Okay, well, we have to get our blood circulation going, right?
What did we just talk about? What did we just talk about? In the smaller?
Good question.
Pet policy.
I don't know what you did, but I'm making a different point. So could we hold hands here? All right. Now, see, we're all together in the whole community, right? Okay, now let's go back to our smaller functional circles again. Okay. Okay. Now I'd like to ask if we could please have the operational leaders and the representatives come into the general circle again, please. But somehow, I want you to hold hands so that everybody in the smaller circle is holding hands, and the people in the general circle are holding hands. And actually, your hand here is going back to them. And you're holding hands with them. So do you see what we're doing? We're connecting every single person with every single person. There you go. There you go. Do you get the point?
Yes.
What is the point, Lydia?
We're all connected. And
I think so.
Yeah.
we're all connected, and we're all being represented in the general meeting.
That's right.
We're not. We have people there who have our back and who are there to speak on our behalf, and we're not being left out, or our issues are being carried there.
In other words, to put it another way, we still have all of us, but we've bunched ourselves up into circles to make it more effective and efficient. But we haven't lost each other at all. In fact, we haven't lost anything. We've gained some efficiency. We can always have a big community meeting if we want to. We just have to propose it and consent to it, right? And then we have our smaller functional circle meetings and our general circle meetings where all the news comes straight to us and all of our news goes straight to them. And they coordinate everything, taking our functional circle into account because, first of all, there's 2 people in the general circle who do that. Thank you so much for doing all this. Paul?
So suppose we're a community of 100 people, but this is the functioning group.
You mean the general circle?
The
This
general
is
circle
called-
and the functional circles.
Okay, there's functional circles and there's the general circle and our
for both
100
of
person.
us.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that's not all the people in the community. So how do those other people get a voice?
Well, what's the answer, folks?
Yes,
Everybody in the community is in a circle.
Either everyone in the community is in a circle, but we don't just have 3 or 4 big circles.
No, I
Remember how Pioneer Valley does it? All those smaller circles connected? Everybody in Pioneer Valley pretty much
So
is
you're
in-
saying pretty much everyone has to be in a circle.
Well, yes and no. If we
There could
were,
be a smaller circle out here where I was just touching her back and she was touching her.
Yeah.
I understand, but still you're in a
yeah,
circle.
well, Paul is asking a different question, so let's answer it. If it is a business or a nonprofit,
Uh-huh.
every single person has a role and a function, and they're in a circle. Possibly they're in more than one.
Okay.
If I, who am making widgets on the factory floor, I'm also the newsletter editor. So,
Okay.
okay. Let's say it's an intentional community. We're all volunteers. Some of us don't want to be in no damn circle, and we're not. So we don't. So we're not in it.
Well, okay.
Well, okay, well,
So, but how do they get the
You might
information
wanna
from the circles?
You might want. How do you get represented?
Or, yes.
Or you don't.
well,
Well,
you answer it. You know the answer. You already do.
So,
Yeah, okay, well, somebody else does.
You're in
Ha-
a circle and you want to be represented in your circle.
Right.
like for
Now,
example,
how do you
okay.
get the news? Well, let's say you're not in a circle because you don't want to be, but you want to get the news. Do you read the minutes? Yeah, you read the minutes. Do you talk to your friends at lunch? Yeah, you talk to your friends. You get the news.
So it's-
I'll just withdraw the question.
Well, no, don't withdraw. Let's keep going down this road. It sounds as though you would like to prevent something negative, that you kind of see a glitch here.
Well, like I said, if this is the governing bodies of a 100-person community and those other 80 people aren't in circles,
Well,
they don't have a voice
what
directly.
makes you think they're not in circles? Let's go back to look at
There aren't that many circles.
Yes, there are. Let's go back to the board.
Let's
go
just say
back.
that, yeah, like what if we want to create a community where it's not required for 90% of people to be in circles?
Let's just come all back here to look at this. What I did was to show a physical, visual representation of a general circle and the people in 3 functional. But we don't have enough people in this room to put all these circles on there. Usually this workshop is bigger in terms of people, and so I make 4 circles or 5. But quite often, when we have a lot of people in the workshop, I make 3 or 4 plus these, because there's enough people to do it. In that 100-person community, I can guarantee you, because you know there's about 100 people at Pioneer Valley, and did you see all those circles? At the 17-month point, when they did their survey, they found that more people were more involved in community functions than had ever been before in the governance, than ever before. Why? There was a place for them. Were some people not in any circle at all? Sure. Why? Because they didn't want to be. Because in a community, it's volunteers, right? But in a company or a nonprofit, we'd all be somewhere because we were an employee and we're getting paid, you know.
I think I have an idea about if you're not in any circle and you don't want to be because membership doesn't interest you, nothing interests you, but you still want to be represented, you could propose to form a circle for people who don't want to be in circles, right? And then this circle would have 2 representatives going to the general circle, right?
Yes or not. Yes.
If the proposal gets through?
Yes, yes, if we consent to it. Now, maybe we propose this in a general circle meeting, a whole community meeting, where all of us are there. However, there's another way we could do it. We could elect a community member at large to be in the general circle. 1 person, they're in the general circle. Why are they? Because we all elected them. Why did we? Because we wanted a voice for the people who weren't directly in one of the functional circles. Why did we? We wanted to try it for a while and see if we like it. But we're going to give it a time limit. We're going to check to see if we like it. We're going to keep it, change it, or throw it out after some period of time of trying it. Some people in some communities sometimes don't have faith that the people in the general circle will do a good job, even though they basically selected at least the representatives, possibly also the operations leaders. So what do? We can have everybody go to the general circle meeting and sit all around the outside of the people sitting in a small circle and watch and observe them. We could do that. We could occasionally have one great big meeting to discuss things like what shall we, the community life circle, put into the PEP policy. We want to hear from all of you. Or we could just create the PEP policy. Now let's say this person, this community member, doesn't go to any of those meetings, doesn't go to the big meetings, doesn't participate in choosing the member at large. We could ask, well, how are they represented? What's the answer, folks? They're not. Well, right, but they're not represented if they're not in any circle and they didn't help choose the member at large, right? So are they represented? No. Is their voice heard? No. Who has decided this?
They have.
They have, right. Does a person have the right to change their mind? Sure. Maybe they're going to go apply to be in a circle next week. Or maybe they've been working really hard for 3 years and now they just need a break and they're not doing anything for a while. Is it okay? Well, in communities, that is what happens. Right, folks who live in communities? Mm-hmm. It is what happens, yeah. So does that help you get a sense of...
Yeah.
Good, I'm glad.